Welcome back to another update video from Team Psycosmos. This is Matt here to provide you with all of that positive, motivating, high vibrational energy here on Monday, August 2nd, 2021. Just really quick, wanted to plug the merch. I'm actually wearing one of our merch store shirts. So go to the link tree in the description down below. You can click on the merch store shirt. It'll take you to our Teespring store, and there you can pick up some awesome, very affordable, very trendy merch from us here at Team Psycosmos. So let's get into it. What's been going on over the last couple of days, this past weekend? Well, the first thing, no real follow-up on this weird kind of stuff that's going on in Congress right now. A lot of people are trying to throw other people and other Congress people out of their seats, basically. The biggest one is the usurpation of Nancy Pelosi's throne, and I say usurpation, obviously I'm making a joke here. But what I found ironic was the other day, everybody's been going on and on about Nancy Pelosi because she recently instituted a new mask mandate. And then she took her mask off and I don't care about any of that crap. That's obviously just just cherry picking, right? What I actually found more interesting was in the same footage where she's taking off her mask, she has a pin. I don't know if you noticed. Anybody noticed the pin? It's the pin of the Sergeant at Arms. I think that's what the title is, the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives. She's not the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives. That is another gentleman. I don't remember his name, but you can go and you can search it up on the government websites. So she's wearing a pin which is supposed to be worn by somebody who has an official title, which she did have up until this past April, where there was another person who was sworn in as that. Now, I don't know if that's just outdated information. I don't know if, because, if you didn't know this, a lot of the people in the Western, especially the American political sphere, they'll do hand gestures or they'll wear different pins, and what they're doing is they're signaling people. I've seen Nancy Pelosi wear this same pin. It looks like a caduceus. It looks like the double intertwined snake going up a rod with the wings at the top, but it's a little different. It's basically a pole with an eagle at the top on top of a globe. All of this symbolizes enlightenment. All of this symbolizes the spinal column and the enlightenment in the brain. That's actually what it represents. That's what the caduceus of Mercury, the staff of Hermes, the staff of Thoth, the rod of Asclepius. That's what all of these things, the brazen serpent in the Bible, that's what all these things represent. They represent the inner channelings of the energy. And I believe that when they probably first made that pin back in, I believe, the 1930s, 1940s is when they started using that in America. It's a symbol of courage. It's a symbol of courage because it's about, conquering the evils, conquering the lower vibrational aspects of life. And it also has 13 stars or stripes or something like that on the pin itself. On the they have actually a giant flag with the eagle at the top perched on the globe, and there are 13 stripes on it. Obviously 13 stripes, that's a big deal because that was the 13 original colonies, and that kind of dates back in a lot of American history. But why 13? What's the significance of the number 13? It's actually really big. First of all, you can do, if you take a look at a regular clock, it goes 1 to 12. You can do 12 plus 1 is 13, 11 plus 2 is 13. And if you just start with the highest and the lowest and then you go that way, all the numbers add up to 13. That's the first thing. So that's just a coincidence, but the real reason why 13 was chosen was because 13 is considered a holy and sacred number in a lot of Judeo-Christian archetypes and religious beliefs. So the reason for that is because thousands of years ago, when they started dissecting bodies, cadavers, mummies, whatever, they found that there are 12 cranial nerves inside the brain, which control the 12 systems of the body. I'm out of breath because I was just doing an exercise, by the way. I did my exercise and I came just to do this. But anyway, so there's 12 cranial nerves in the body, in the brain, which control the 12 systems of the body. The brain, if you constitute it as one organ, is the 13th. This is reflected in the story of Jesus Christ, where he is the culmination of all of his 12 apostles. He is the 13th member. It goes into play with the 12 tribes of Israel. There are 12 tribes. The whole tribe of Israel constitutes oneness. The reunification of Israel being the 13th. And then, of course, there are 12 months, 12 zodiacal signs. But there's also the secret 13th zodiacal sign of Fucus, which is the serpent trainer, the serpent tamer. He's the man who's got the serpent wrapped all around his body, but he's battling with it. And that also represents Jesus Christ, represents conquering the evils, represents conquering the snakes of life, because we all have snakes within us. We all have a serpentine, sinister side to us. If you go and you study psychology, Jung's interpretation of the shadow and things of that nature. So basically, that's actually a pretty big deal. I know this has been kind of a couple minutes here. I'm just kind of sharing some thoughts here. I found it really odd that she's still wearing this pin when she's not, the person who has this title anymore. And it's a significant pin. I mean, it has a really important meaning. I think she's wearing it for signals. I think that's really what it comes down to, because I don't think that she should be wearing that pin anymore if she doesn't own the title. So I don't know why she would. Unless, of course, that has been adapted and my information's incorrect and that's like the Speaker of the House's pin, but I couldn't find anything on that and I searched for it for a little while. But yeah, very curious to see if anybody has any information on that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about today real quick before I wrap up and let you guys go, other than the financial market, of course, I'll cover the financial market very briefly here. Over the weekend, we saw a nice uptick. We're sitting stable at this uptick. We're going down a little bit today. Expect high volatility next month. Over the coming weeks, I think it's probably just going to be semi-volatile. But then again, if the SEC lawsuit with XRP kind of opens up, then we're going to be, in the real thick of it in terms of the quantum financial system and all of that implementation that's about to be rolled out. One thing I want to talk about, though, is doctors and people who are in the medical field, medical professionals. The first thing I want to do is I want to say thank you to all those people who do a great job in serving and saving other people's lives. What you guys do is extremely hard. You're very intelligent people. I know a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, people in my family, friends of family, etc. I've noticed that the doctors who have the best relationships with their patients, the doctors who have the most patients, the doctors who are esteemed in their medical professional careers are extremely open-minded and very nice, I guess is the best way to put it. The doctors who don't do well are the ones who basically worship the god of science, right? And science with a capital S, which has become a new cult. And what's funny is I actually know a few people who are medical professionals who are so brainwashed because they've had a few years of school and they went through and they did some, they might have done some case studies, and that's very nice. We appreciate all that work, but now we have, real hardcore evidence of this thing that has been circulating recently, the V thing, which there's evidence on both sides. There's evidence to support that it works. There's evidence to support that it is hurting people. And what's funny is that science is completely unbiased. It's nonpartisan. I think this isn't really a nonpartisan issue. It's not like only one group of politically identifying people are not getting vaccinated and the other group are. A great example of this is the fact that African American people are the most unvaccinated in the country, and they demographically lean left. So that makes no sense. You can't use the argument that this is a partisan issue. It's not. This is an issue of people who want to make sure that their friends and family members aren't going to get sick, because a lot of people have and a lot of people have died. So I know a lot of medical professionals who are very egotistical. They think that just because they're a doctor, they're smarter than other people. These doctors know nothing of the sacred secretion. They know nothing of the Kundalini and the Christ consciousness energy within the human body. They know pills, and they know advice to have you take pills. And that's pretty much what these medical professionals do. They are shilling for the pharmaceutical and the medical industry, which is, if I do recall, it's either Rothschild or I think it's Rothschild, the Rothschild Institute. Yeah. So most medical institutions today are basically backed by the Rothschilds, and the proof of this is the fact that they put that symbol, that caduceus, everywhere. Whether it's the double snake version or it's the single snake version or up the pole, they put that symbol everywhere. And they'll tell you, oh, it's a callback to the Greek demigod, hero, Asclepius. Do you understand the tale of Asclepius? Do you understand what Asclepius actually represented? Because he was an extremely important part. He was basically the last bit of Greek culture that had infiltrated other cultures when the Greco-Roman era had ended. Like Zeus didn't even get as much pull by the end of it as Asclepius, because Asclepius represented medical healing, and a lot of that information, regardless of Asclepius was a real person or not, some sources claim he was, others claim that it's just a story, but there was a person that it probably was based off of, and most of the information that revolved around those people's healing mechanisms were in the Library of Alexandria that got destroyed, etc., etc. So Asclepius' story is all about raising the vibrations in the human body to ascend and transcend and unlock the Christ consciousness and the sacred secretion. And, if we actually pushed that instead of pharmaceuticals, which I know are not good for people, I feel like this world would be a lot different, a lot better place, and we wouldn't be dealing with all this crap. It's the fact that this secret has been so well hidden and so kept under wraps. And so, it's been riddled and slandered with misinformation and propaganda. I'm living proof of it. I might not look like it, but I'm living proof that the Christ consciousness is a reality. It's a real thing. I'm a young guy who's been able to gain massive freedoms in my own right, only because I've been able to manifest it and move forward in an empathetic and loving way. So while I'm trying to help people, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people, this is all I want to say, all right? I'm an expert in a lot of fields. Like, I've been certified, I've went through rigorous training courses, I've went through a lot of work experience, certifications, things like that. I have my degree. I will never claim that I'm smarter than somebody else who doesn't have a degree in anything, simply because I feel like I have a certification for it. I do my research, and I back my research up with source material. And I find a lot of the time people just hide behind their degrees. They hide behind those things. They try to pretend like they're experts. I rarely bring up my technical background because I don't need to. It's irrelevant to a lot of the points that I make. But when I do bring it up, it's in very odd cases, like I've read case study white papers for cryptocurrencies. I understand the technology maybe a little bit better than most people who don't have a technology degree. But I know that there are probably thousands of people who understand crypto's technology better than I do who don't have a degree. So, that's just kind of one aspect where I really feel like with this whole pandemic situation, we are failing each other as a group of people. So I wanted to make a note on that. I'm not attacking anybody specifically. All I wanted to say was people need to do better. We need to make less assumptions about what other people know, and we need to listen. I mean, if there are 60,000 doctors who are saying this is not safe, one doctor is more than enough to be able to consider the implications and try to, not move full steam ahead. And of course, this is due to the elites trying to just confuse everybody, right? So just keep all that stuff in mind. Stop watching the news, and just move forward with love and appreciation, and try your best to live the life the best way that you can. Don't live in fear, because living in fear is exactly what they want you to do. Okay, so make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comment down below whatever you're feeling. Tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong, whatever you guys want to say. Go check out our Linktree, go check out our merch store, Patreon, Cash App. Consider supporting us, all those things. Go check out our TikToks. We're making new TikToks, and we're growing a couple hundred followers, it seems like, every day, which is phenomenal. Love every single one of you, and as always, take care of yourselves. Love you guys.